All right, we're good to go. I'm cooked. My legs. I saw. Are we recording? Yes. 6 seconds in. Wow, I am so sore. I have no clue how I even woke up today.
You had the Melbourne Marathon yesterday, right?
Oh, I did 10Ks. I was meant to do the half marathon. I trained all year for it and then had to change last minute. My legs are cooked.
You know what? That's one thing I must admit. Like, I feel like the older we get, like we're both, I'm almost 30, but
Yeah.
we're about 30 years
Wait,
old.
I was 30 last year.
Yeah.
You're 30 this year.
Yeah, so I'm saying we're about 30.
Yeah.
You know, man, your body starts to feel it. You don't condition and you just pay for it.
If you're listening to this episode and you're under the age of 30, enjoy the pain-free mornings. I kid you not, my quads, my ass cheeks, everything lower body is finished.
Yeah, all I can say is exercise and play as much as you can because it hurts so much later.
Oh, look, like I'm not saying I'm not fit or anything. So I've done well with my age. But like looking at people like Ronaldo at his prime, like now not prime, but like 37.
Yeah.
Man, like it pays to be fit, eating healthy.
Yeah.
Your body definitely reacts to the way you treat it. But like, man, 10 kilometers isn't much, I think, to most people that can run. Like I run a lot, so 10Ks wasn't much. But my legs, honestly, this morning I had to take a painkiller because I couldn't get out of bed.
Yuck, that is not good. Wasn't there a thing that like Aussies can run? Like they're just going to go out and run a 5K today.
Yeah.
I think it was like a TikTok from like years ago.
Yeah. No, I think it was just during lockdown. Everyone was like a Olympian during lockdowns. But yeah, we're back with another episode. Probably the shortest stint since the last episode.
Yeah, it's what, 3-day turnaround.
Literally. So we're back here in the morning. Not many people know this, but we record every Monday early. We try to get it done and get a good sort of feel of the football that was on the weekend. There's always going to be different types of episodes where we get inspired by certain things. If you didn't watch last week's episode or the one 3 days ago, it was basically A-League heavies. We do have a little A-League mention again. Mm-hmm. What are you wearing today, by the way?
So I'm on 02-04 Chelsea. I think it's, is it away or third? It's away. Away shirt. So long sleeve too, which is...
Was that actual shirt?
Yeah.
Ah,
so the goalkeeper shirt was like...
I thought it was a training top.
No, it's an actual away shirt. So I think the goalkeeper had a similar one for a year or two prior. Sick. I think I'm keen. I'm going to go try and find a name set for this. I'm thinking like a Hasselbank or Ida Johnson or like something fun like that. What do you got on?
Last year, so 2021, St. Pauli away. I love it.
What's the sponsor? The manufacturer?
DIY. I'm not sure who.
It's not actually a DIY shirt.
No, so basically, I think it's made in-house.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Pauli does everything in their
that's
own
cool.
hands.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that it's manufactured by another manufacturer, but they've gone on a different name to sort of give Pauli that bit more... the backup.
Like ethical kind of.
Which is good. I think like DIY, they always do about recycling and all that. But it's good for a club like Pauli who's got, big ethical, the thoughts for the future. It's good to see, them do that.
How long ago were they with Nike? That wasn't that long ago. Was it a couple of years?
Were they with Nike? I think they were Puma.
Oh, Puma.
Puma. They were with the American brand, Under Armour.
Yeah. Do you remember when they had the Jack Daniels sponsor?
Yeah.
That was cool.
They've had some amazing jerseys. Yeah. I think Pauli shirts, because they're brown, like brown, red and white, you can do some amazing things.
Oh, yeah.
I was speaking to the goalkeeper coach at City the other day during our media day, which is like the photo shoot day. Mm-hmm. And he looks at me, he goes, why do you... He's Dutch. Forgive me if you're Dutch and my accent's bad. He goes, why do you have Pauli? I'm like, a footballer that I like, Jackson Irvine plays and a former City player, Conor Metcalf. And I'm just like their sort of the ethical thoughts off the pitch. He goes, nah, they're rubbish. I'm like, why? He goes, brown kits, like pool.
That's what gives you your whole perception on a club is because they wear brown.
Well, he's played in, I think he played for Heerenveen. He's a goalkeeper.
Wow, that's cool.
This guy's had a pretty good CV, but he just didn't like Pauli because it looked like poo for him. Can you imagine that?
Oh, that's funny. I did some work in like an area of like in the southeastern suburbs, and I think it's like a very AFL kind of orientated suburb. And I walked I walked into work with a Dortmund jumper on, and there's a German staff member there, and he ran straight over to me. He's like, "How do you know what this is?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?
What do you mean? How do I know?"
I'm like, he's like, "Do you support Dortmund?" I'm like, "No, not really," but I'm like, "It's just a cool jumper. Like, I just enjoy it for what it is."
It's funny. Every episode we talk about like we plan everything, and then there's always topics that come up mid-episode. Yeah. So, running the 10K at Melbourne Mara. Mm-hmm. You don't sort of like plan to have conversation with random people, but mid-run, there were so many cool jerseys that I was like, hey, hey. There was this couple. This was the night after, the morning after the London derby. So Arsenal beating Tottenham.
Yeah.
A lot of Arsenal shirts.
Yeah, of course, up and about.
Well, there was one couple. They were both wearing Arsenal's jersey from 2 seasons ago, and I was like, that's amazing. Towards the end of my run, I congratulated the guy who was wearing a Nike Pumas shirt from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Beautiful gold and black.
Yeah,
I shook
nice.
his hand. I'm like, beautiful work. He's like, thank you. And then this guy in the Celtics in the hoops, I go up to him and I regretted it because this guy wanted to speak, and I was like, shit, I'm dying. But I'm like, oh, laddie, like, great shirt. He's like, oh, no way. And he had the biggest accent. And he's like, I've just come from a bender.
And he's knocked out of 10K.
And I kid you not, this guy's knocked out of 10K, and he literally apparently didn't even go to bed till like 3 o'clock wearing a hoop shirt.
There's something to appreciate for the people that can back up a bender. Like, man, I struggle if I haven't had water in the morning. Like, you know, these guys go out on the piss and then manage to back it up, play a game or run.
I don't know.
Run 10Ks, no way.
I don't know, dude. Look, if you had a jersey to wear, what jersey would you wear?
Ooh,
For a run.
For a run. Maybe England, Kyle Walker. Because I'm fucking horrible at running. And
Yeah, I'd wear anything dry fit advanced, like all play spec.
Oh, you're
like
looking from a tech perspective.
Yeah, it's like
okay,
me.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I would definitely like the latest shirt I would wear is that a couple of episodes ago, the Germany shirt from last season. The full black one.
I don't know. I don't wear a lot of like modern tech shirts, to be honest, because a lot of stuff I wear is like.
I couldn't wear older shirt. I have worn a lot of shirts, and if they don't have any sort of technology for breathing, worst shirt to wear.
Yeah, I'd look, to be honest, even when I do go for runs, I don't ever wear older like retro gear because it's
if
just
it's
not, it's
valuable.
too heavy. It
Yeah.
sucks. Yeah, it's not fun to run in.
All right, let's not talk too long. Is there anything? Oh yeah, I forgot to say our special thing that we did last. I'm Alex from Talking Shirt.
I'm Paul from PFC Vintage. Is that what we did last time?
Yeah, and we thought it was so cool. I listened back to it and I was like, ooh. Does Steph, your wife, does she ever say, why do you listen to your own episode?
No, not really. I think, to be honest, I'm always listening through to see what reels I can pull out of it. That's the only
Yeah, well, I listen back to us, our episodes, just to see how we go, if there's anything in the future, like the change.
Yeah.
And my wife comes up and she's like, do you love Paul's voice that much that you have to listen to your own episode? I'm like, babe, it's not about that.
I was going to say, between us sending each other voice messages and listening to our own episodes, I think our wives think we're actually in love. So,
That's a whole different story. We've got the A-League kits here. Now, we don't have anything in stock as of now, but Ultra Football will definitely have A-League jerseys in a couple of weeks. The season starts this weekend. I know we did an episode the other day about the A-League, so we won't talk too much about the season.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've got the shirts here. For those watching on YouTube, we'll have a visual representation. Those listening on Spotify or wherever else you find your podcasts, just visualize this and come back in the future.
just check them out online. I think everyone's going to be able to find those photos.
If you're listening to this, I'm sure you're aware of the A-League. But if you're overseas, definitely check it out. You go first. Maybe we'll go from left to right from the player's point of view.
Yeah, cool. All right, so we've got MacArthur first up. I reckon their kit is heavily underrated. I think maybe they're flying under the radar a little bit because they're not like a massive club. Obviously, they had a bit of success with the Australia Cup. But Calmay, it's nice to see Calmay back. Like, I feel like, they've just gone MIA for a few years. I can't. You probably know more than me that I can't think of any clubs that are currently using them.
Overseas, not in Australia.
Yeah, I think La Liga have a couple. From
Yeah, there's a
memory.
few. Calmay used to be Real Madrid back.
Yeah,
in the
and that
which
was
is
awesome.
Massive.
Yeah, that was huge.
Still
cool
forget
era
that they
too.
had that connection.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
a short stint too, though.
2 years, I think.
Yeah, but Calmay for a club like MacArthur Bulls for me was so nice to see because they have the paw print as the logo.
Yeah.
And to me, for a club that's basically named after an animal,
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. MacArthur Bulls, a club that's just recently been a part of the A-League. I think the last couple of seasons they had literally no identity. They still don't, but like it's just one of those things where a club needs a nice thing. The black and white stripes, again, there's so many colours that the A-League hasn't gone for, but I think there's a couple of teams with stripes now. I love that jersey. I think the one thing I liked about it in person was the detailing in the sort of player spec that Daniel Mazzani and Noom were wearing.
I'm a big fan of the collar, actually. I like the kind of V-neck vibe.
overlapping?
Yeah, the overlapping collar. Like, it's actually what you're wearing now, but it's actually very cool.
Yeah. They remind me of Udinese.
Yeah, it does. Very similar, like with the yellow
Pretty
details.
sure they had that connection last season. The same jersey was literally the same thing.
Quite literally, yeah. But they're different manufacturer, I think, from memory.
Last year they were the same. Macron, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Next one. So look, I don't mind. It's just amazing to see an orange jersey gone like with the black. I think having two colorways is perfect, but there's no imagination behind it.
Yeah, I think, look, Brisbane was a hard one. I think it's, orange kits. I'm trying to think of another club that, like, I know Wolves tend to do orange kits quite well, but it's obviously a different shade of orange as well. I can't think of any other really nice orange kits where I'm like, yeah, that's sick. Porto do a few away ones occasionally.
Werder Bremen had some amazing ones.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That is true.
I'd
yeah.
love to see Brisbane go peachy. And also Atlanta United has a few peachy colours.
Yeah.
I think overall New Balance, it's one of the bigger manufacturers in the league, and the fact that they're not making just amazing jerseys really disappoints me.
It's not groundbreaking. I think it's a very basic kit.
Oh, we should give numbers out of 10. So for me, for MacArthur, I'd say a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm a par with you. 7 out of 10 is pretty fair.
You're next? Oh, yeah, but Brisbane, sorry.
Brisbane, I'd probably go like a 3. I reckon it's a pretty
same
bang
3.
average kit. I don't think it's anything special. Western United. What do you think? I know you're a bit of an anti-Western guy.
I have my thoughts about that and have my rights to dislike him.
Yeah.
Diamante, beautiful guy. I can't say nothing wrong about him. But the jersey for me, like the first season, their kits were by far the best thing ever.
Yeah, they
to
were.
the point where they live on as a cult favourite forever. I think that kit, similar to most other A-League kits in the world, like over time, like you think about some of the best kits, you represent an era of like superiority, like superior, like a stance, like that Sydney FC kit with Del Piero is always going to be an highlight.
Yeah, iconic.
For me, for a green and black, they could have done a lot more.
Yeah, I think so too. And like I know the Simmons Homes is a big sponsor, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it works or there's a lot going on.
The fact that it has black as a dominant color for me makes it a lot better.
Yeah, of course. It's a pretty it's still stealthy kind of looking kit.
Yeah, I still think they can do better. So I think I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 as well. Bang on. Moving into the other Kappa kit. The Western Sydney Wanderers.
Yep.
So both parts of western parts of their state.
Yeah.
I think they've had so many good kits in the last few years, and I think this is their worst of the bunch.
Yeah, you kind of forget that Kappa does Venezia, and then they do these two.
Yeah.
You expect a little bit more like freedom, but then again, we're in Australia, so I don't think they get really sort of the freedom. I know from City's point of view, there's this conversation with the kits, and then we have to basically say yes, 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 no, 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 change this, change that. Mm-hmm. I've seen some kit designs that never go ahead, and I'm like, wow, that would have been amazing. So there's always the logistical side of things, materials. I think the Kappa kit for Western Sydney Wanderers is a great shirt. The one thing I do like about the Western shirts is, both Western shirts and the Kappa shirts, is their badges are actually proper, like it's actually like physical. It's not implemented. It's not cotton or anything like a badge.
It's like rubberized? Or
Rubberized. That's the word. I give it an 8 out of 10 just because red and black.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to go that high. I'm not going to be that generous. I think a 6 is probably as much as I'm willing to go. I'll let you move on to the next one because they're both
look, I don't mind the City shirt. I still think there's a few little things they could have done to it. I think if you gave that shirt a bit of a collar or a white detailing around the neck, boxed in that design, it would have been better. Like I do love the zigzag. It reminds me of Drake Ramberg's Nike era at Arsenal. But I just think overall, and again, I'm just not sure where Puma is doing wrong. And forgive me, Puma, if you're watching this, the Australian team, it just really upsets me. Like the design of these shirts is not my favorite. They're great designs. I just don't think there's enough legitimate thought into the process of designing a shirt. Like the paneling system for the players. I just don't think they're great shirts.
It's a funny one. I feel like Puma's been it's like a 10 out of 10 kit or it's like a 3 out of 10 kit for a lot of the stuff they've produced over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Maybe that, I don't know, in certain situations, maybe they look better. Like you look back when they did that Dortmund, the Nuremberg sort of knockoff, they smashed that. That was a great kit. There was a few others. I think Milan had a couple of nice kits as well throughout the years. They did that whole Euro saga where they made training shirts for everyone. That was a scam. But this one, I don't know. I think it's very basic. I think, when you said collar, I liked... Remember that? I think it was the previous Socceroos kit that had that kind of button collar.
Yeah.
I think that would have been perfect. That would have tied in nicely with the cuff sleeves.
Even if it was the crew neck with the 2 buttons.
Yeah, similar to that 96 Socceroos
white
kit that
we were
talking
collar around it, thick white circle collar, crew neck collar. I don't know. Just for me, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. Sydney FC, Under Armour. They've been with Under Armour a few years now. What are your thoughts?
See the collar on that? How it boxes in the blue?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what you need. I do like the sleeves where it's got the blue and white. So great shirt. I think a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think they might have cooked the A-League sponsor.
Oh, jeez, I just saw that. Maybe it was last minute. I don't think that would have been
it. It looks like every other club, I think.
You know what? No one's mentioned that. That's actually horrible.
They're the only club in the entire league that has had to put a backing on the
I don't think that's the whole... I'm looking at the fan version. It's even on the way one. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's not a great look. I think, look, nice kit, clean kit, good base player.
Really upsetting.
Sponsor, I'm still not a fan of. I never have been really.
No, I don't support gambling as well.
No,
so
yeah,
the
but
Crown.
you like sponsor. Whoever's pumping money into the club's going to get put on the front of the shirt. But yeah, I think that A-Leagues thing kind of ruins it for me a bit.
Let's smash these quicker, just so we don't bore everyone. Look, Newcastle, the first time they've actually done a great job with the gold. The Port of Newcastle sponsorship last year was a massive slap on. It was the worst thing ever, but I think this season they've done a great job.
Yeah, much better.
Rooney really making the shirt look amazing. Really exciting. I love the short detail on the side. Yeah, for me, 7 out of 10 because a gold jersey can't go wrong, but they could have done a little bit better with the detailing. I still think it's a good shirt.
I think as a full kit, I actually really like Newcastle's. I think it just looks good. Like they've gone dark shorts, dark socks, or navy on both cases.
Basically Catalonia. They're
more or less.
The
Quite
gold
literally.
shirt and the red and blue.
Who else wore a gold kit over the weekend? I was watching someone. I'm like, that's why that looks good as a gold kit because they. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, not Venezia's one.
No, it wasn't Venezia's. It was I can't remember. It was another team, and I remember thinking, I need to mention that in the podcast, and I forgot about it now. Great.
So I spoke to the footballer for Wellens Phoenix, and I'm pretty sure he comes from a Maori background because I spoke to him about the design element. So he said to me that they finally got someone in to design and help him. So I'm not sure if you can see the black detailing. There's a bit of like Maori design. When we went to New Zealand, we saw a lot of the sort of elements of heritage. So that was really good. The fact that they tied that in.
That's cool.
I think for me, that's definitely a plus, and I think that's definitely a 10 out of 10 for actually connecting to their culture.
Yeah.
And I think New Zealand in general are probably leading the way compared to Australia when it comes to connecting to the original owners of the land.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like that's such a nice element to it. I think just from a design side, I still don't think the kit's that great. I think it's hard to work with that yellow, but I don't know.
Look, you put the Borussia Dortmund on that, and instantly it's going to be
a different identity.
The only thing I would have done was black shorts for this one. I love the eagle on the socks.
Yeah, the socks are very cool.
But again, like black and yellow, like me and my friend Gaston, we always talk about it. When black is the dominant color and you have a secondary color, you can't go wrong.
No.
I think that's why, for me, that's amazing. Honestly, if I changed the whole thing, it would have been black with the yellow details.
What's that Uruguayan club? Is Uruguayan
Yeah,
club?
Penarol. That's
right.
right. We love that. That's why, for me, yellow, black are the best shirts.
Beautiful kit.
Another reason why I support Richmond Tigers. Victory, skip that. Oh, actually, sorry, 10 out of 10, yeah. Victory, skip that for Victory. That was horrible. They just rocked up with nothing.
Yeah, the kit wasn't ready for the release. And look, I think it's going to get released. Well, we saw the leaks on FIFA, which we'll get to in a bit. I guess we'll talk about.
Look, it's upsetting, but it's manufacturers, and I think the Victory will definitely have something out.
Yeah,
iconic club in a sense to Australia with their logo. It's funny how so many times their logo has been used for illegal clubs when they've like.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
Yeah, it's so good.
I honestly, between me and you and everyone listening, I think Victory needs to go to that point where they need to rebrand or like get a new logo. I think they've been around for so long that Sydney FC and all these other teams have given their logo a bit of a new love. Like you look at Perth Glory, they've had a bit of a change. Adelaide United's had a bit of a change. I still think Victory need a bit of a rebranding. Gives them a fresh start.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it a bit more like on the Bordeaux side of things. Like I think that the V's super dominant in Victory's logo as well.
It's identity, and I think that's what Victory has, which is amazing.
That's the thing too, yeah. And like obviously it's probably the most successul club in the league too, or thereabouts. So
we did see the leaks. I'm excited for them to have the fluoro back. I think it's one of the best shirts.
Yeah.
In the early ages of A-League. I always hated watching the fluoro because it was such a nice kit.
It was such a nice kit.
And it reminds me of of course, my cousin Billy Sesley, who we're both friends with.
Yep.
They've had some amazing players over time.
Oh, of course.
Another player that I think Australian football will never forget is Carlos Hernandez.
Yeah.
The guy would make anyone look like a
And
joke.
that time at Victory too was probably massive because you think about Archie Thompson, Hernandez, and
so many amazing
all in the same
footballers.
squad, and there's probably more players. That
Adrian
we're just not
Leia, Roddy Vargas,
there's heaps, right? Yeah.
Favorite player, I think, when it comes to people, because it reminded me of this one person. Actually, reminds me of you right now, Kemp.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, no worries.
It made me realize that if you're bold, you can be a footballer.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'm joking. Mariners, look,
Nice.
I've always wanted a Mariners shirt. I always want the palm tree, but Paladin, I just swore. That's not a bad shirt.
I think it's nice. I don't mind this kit, and I think it's kind of somewhat Aussie. Like the mate sponsor too is kind of cool. I think it's a nice.
Pretty sure the Victory women's team have the Mate as well as a
there you
sponsor.
go.
It's a great sponsor. I love when sponsors work with the thing. I feel like if Mate was on the Perth Glory, it would have been a lot better. But even the Perth Glory one, looking at it quickly, the sponsors it changes everything for me.
Yeah, it does. I think it kind of pops, doesn't it, in this case? I guess, hey, good for the sponsor, bad probably for the kit. But
Great shirt. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
go
I
wrong
think-
with Mariners.
yeah, Mariners is really nice.
You can definitely
I think,
do a
yeah.
wrong one, but I think it's perfect for this season.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's subtle, it's clean, it's nice, and I like the collar on it actually as well. It's got that overlapping thing that we were saying before.
Adelaide United, they are one of the luckiest teams. Their owners, or not the owners, the brand and manufacturer, I'm pretty sure they're Chinese manufacturer, so that they can get access to materials instantly. And these shirts are I think they're always the first team to get their shirts available because the sort of they don't have that many teams in their catalogue, so it's easy for them to get it.
Is it Brooks the manufacturer? Who's the manufacturer?
Nah, it's not
What's it?
Brooks.
What is it? It looks like Brooks, that logo.
I can't remember, but they have this just easy. They're always the first people to get.
Yeah.
And it just shows you can do a great shirt. And their second away shirt, the bone colour, like
That's nice,
they
yeah.
can't do wrong. I'm going to give this a straight 9 out of 10 just
Yeah.
because red. And the white collar details, the white sleeve details, it just breaks up the red.
I think this is probably my favorite kit of the bunch.
Really?
Actually, yeah. I know it's quite basic and clean. I like the
Yeah,
pattern
basic
base
clean's
layer.
perfect.
I think everything just works though. Like there's nothing in it that's not like that seems like it's wrong or out of place.
Imagine the whole crowd wearing this. It's just a beautiful shirt.
Yeah, I think
You get me?
and it looks great. And they did their press release and that was photographed really nicely as well. And it's like
Yeah, shout out to Stuart Kerr and Jordan Trambotta, beautiful humans and really talented creatives. Shout out
they
to
did.
them.
Honestly, yeah, no, such a good job. But I think it's probably going to be one of the kits of the season for me. I think.
100%. Last shirt of the thing. We've got 21 minutes. We'll take a break soon. Look, I think Perth Glory had this identity issue for many years. Of course, last year's fiasco with Sturridge. Really disappointing for me. I really thought he would have come here and had a bit of fun, but I don't know what happened. We won't talk too much about him. But the fact that they've come this season and decided to go for blood, I love it.
Yeah, it's cool. Out there design. I think something a little bit
It's
more
got a bit of
crazy.
snake detailing, like the sort of scaling system, the digitalized version.
Yeah.
Could almost connect it to their crypto potential a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, the owner, that takeover. What happened with that? That was like a big noisy thing. And
The
then
guy
just
tried buying
flopped.
the club and then went bankrupt.
Yeah, no.
Oh, sorry. If you're into crypto, you just... Jesus. My dad and my brother were talking about crypto the other night at dinner, and I was like, why?
I think we need to have like a non-football segment to this show and just rip into something for 2 minutes.
It's like an ad. It's like, do not get into crypto. Great shirt. Look, I think they've done great. I love the little detailing in the shorts, the orange around there. Great. Really excited to see half their squad play, mainly for me, Kolikovsky, one of our friends and good mates of Ultra Football.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to see him get out there. Actually, one thing I just noticed, the shorts and the socks are navy and the shirt's purple. By the looks of it.
It's probably the lighting.
I could be just lying. Oh no, it is purple, sorry.
Yeah, it's probably the
I
lighting.
was gonna
But
say that
great
looks-
shirt. Look, I'm happy with it. I'm going to give that a 10 out of 10 for me, the best shirt. We didn't have this shirt because the women's team, the only team that doesn't feature in this group,
Yes.
is Canberra United Green. The only thing I'm going to say is ISC need to get out of football in Australia and stick to rugby and AFL. But come on, like,
Look, I've got nothing against manufacturers that are stepping into different territories. I think you just got to do your product knowledge and know what the sport's about, what the sort of tie to history, tie it to performance. There's so many things you need to account for.
you have a chance to make something iconic, and for a club that only has the women's team and such a successful team, like Michelle Heyman there right now,
Yeah.
who we met the other
She's
day.
gone, yeah.
But I just still think Canberra should do better.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for that. I'm really excited for the A-League season. Of course, we're going to have the A-League Fantasy. We'll mention it again at the end, but we will have a code at the bottom of this episode. If you're listening to this on Spotify, we'll definitely share it on socials. Should we go into our last topic for the break?
Yeah, that's it.
A-League related.
Yes, Mr. Graham Kuol.
Man, this guy playing in Shepparton.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to my brother a couple of seasons ago when we were talking about Lou Cole, his brother, and he's like, oh, there goes the light. He was like, yeah, we played against him in the Suns, the Goulburn Valley.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think it was that, or a Shepparton game.
Yeah.
And this guy was just scoring goals. Actually, I should ask my brother. I should give him a call after and be like, hey, did Lou Cole score against you? Because I remember I was speaking about it. But
He's a goalkeeper, yeah.
But Garang Kuol, for me, I would say it's a big positive move to see him get the attention of Newcastle.
Yeah, and I was surprised to see the, I think it was a tweet or an Instagram post by the club, and the fans getting around him. And I thought, that's interesting because he's a kid, like...
He's literally a kid.
And you think of it in the grand scheme of things, like, they signed players like recently, like, Isak, Kieran
Yeah.
Trippier, like they've signed some big players and the fans still getting around him. As
If
like
he
a
goes
young
on
prospect.
loan, it's going to break my heart. But can you imagine if he just stays 1 year at Newcastle and just put him on a few times?
Even just to develop, even if he doesn't play, like, he's still so young, you give him time.
How do you go from Shepparton to St. James? That is amazing.
That's a good headline.
Like, look, I was fortunate enough to take photos of him for the Socceroos a couple of days ago. Genuine bloke, funniest kid, and he's got some older guys in the Socceroos that were helping him. I remember it was him and Thomas Dengler just walking around. And it was just good to see someone like an older brother for him in the camp, and to see him go to Newcastle. He's got some amazing players for him to like learn off.
Oh man, yeah.
Saint Maxim, Isak. He's got just. Of course, the New Zealander Chris Wood, who's a great footballer up front. But I'm excited for it. I think it's a positive for Australian football. Anything you want to say about?
Oh man, if I was him, I'd be just sitting behind St. Max and just doing everything that St. Max does. Because you think that guy is an absolute baller. I don't know, maybe off the field, or maybe not, but who knows?
You should wear those Gucci or the bandanas.
Yeah, mate, like whatever floats your boat, I don't care. But on the pitch, the way he operates is like, man, that guy is.
My question to you is, and of course, Daniel Azani is an amazing footballer. I know he's copying in the media. I'm always a massive defender for Azani. I think at City, I got to watch him, become who he was, and he had the big move. I just feel the biggest problem for Azani was that pressure from Australian media.
Yeah.
And I think now with Garang Cole, the only thing I would say is lay off the pressure on the kid. Let him do him.
Yeah.
Azani copped an injury, season-ending injury. My question to you is, not comparing the players, but do you think Kuol is in a better situation than what Azani was?
I wouldn't say it's a better situation. I think Azani was, he kind of proved himself on the world stage, got to be transferred to a big club, and was just really unlucky. And then I think you throw a bit of tall poppy syndrome in there too from the media, because I think everyone seemed to try and he's a flop. The thing, man, the guy's just smashed his knee. Like, you got to give him time to rebuild, reinvigorate, and if that means come home, reset. I think Aaron Moy had a very similar sort of trajectory, right? Like, went overseas, didn't work out, came back to Sydney, and then reworked through Western Sydney City, and now he's back in Europe.
Yeah.
So, I really don't think this is the end for Azani, and just even watching him around here the other day and seeing the way that he hits a ball, it's like, man, this guy he's on a level. On. Yeah.
The one thing I need to just say is players have mental sort of. Yeah,
it's a battle,
they've got a mind that can go into dark places. So the pressure put onto Azani really caused him to be in this bad area. And I hope the pressure on Kuol isn't the same thing from Australian media, but also just in football in general. Let these people be people. Let them be footballers. Like, the pressure on these kids, they need to just go and play. Like, when we see footballers from this age, like we remember Matty Ryan, Tom Rogic, half the Mariners team, like the fact that Garang Cole was also Mariner and his brother. All these players have gone overseas, and like even Tom Rogic copped it as from the media, but then he's who he is. And now going to West Brom, like the pressure on these footballers, I think as Australians, we sort of idolise these big moves for them, but when the footballers go into smaller territories and they play like, say, when Tommy Orr and stuff were playing in Holland, there was never that pressure of them performing. It was like, they're playing in Europe. Congrats.
I think it's just because here people don't care about like the Dutch Eredivisie or like there's other leagues around the world. They just want to see the big leagues. Like, they love. I know Celtic specifically get a lot of love outside of
because a lot of expats.
Or they get a lot of attention. Maybe because people closely link like the Scottish Premier League and the English Premier League. But then when it comes to other leagues around the world, even to be honest, you could go and play in Spain and no one would bat an eyelid. Like Matty Ryan playing at Sociedad for a while was Sociedad.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's playing in Copenhagen now.
That no one says anything.
And that's funny because Christian Volpata, like a player who was like basically neglected in this Aussie system, went over to Roma, and now everyone wants to claim him as Aussie. And then he's like, no, I'm choosing Italy because Italy is giving me the opportunity and actually caring about me. He's just extended his contract at Roma. This is what annoys me. It's like the second these Aussies go overseas to big clubs, then they're like, oh, this guy has to be the best. But when a footballer doesn't play in the big teams, they don't even care about him. Yeah,
there's a bit of it's almost like a non-bias towards A-League players, which is interesting. And you look at players like, say, Cummings and Harry Souttar, Martin Boyle, right? Like it's a bit of a clutch to say, hey, be Aussie, like join us. Yeah,
Counter Backers just scored again for his club. I can't remember. I don't want to say the wrong team. In Scotland. Mm-hmm. This guy's performing. Amazing. His brother played at Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah. Good players. Good pedigree.
Kieran Backers and Keanu Backers, two amazing footballers who moved over from South Africa to Australia. And I'm so lucky to be friends with Kieran in the sense that we, from City days, like we actually speak. And I said to his brother, Keanu, I'm like, time is going to turn off, so these cameras might turn off soon. Massive shout out to them. They played at two amazing teams, like now one of them. But the fact that Kieran played at Kaiser Chiefs and no one cared really annoyed me. This guy played at one of the biggest teams in South Africa, but also in the world.
It's crazy when you think about it. Like it's I guess it's maybe just Australian media. Maybe because I feel like football's so big here, but it's still not big enough to appreciate clubs that aren't massive, right? I feel like there's so much attention around the big clubs around the world.
Yeah.
And if it's not there, it's almost out of sight.
We'll just end it now. Last thing I would say, Alu Kual at Stuttgart, amazing. Conor Metcalf at St. Pauli, and so many other players. And I think that's the only thing I would say is like just let the kid be a kid. If he goes to Newcastle and plays, so be it. Let him enjoy it, and that's it.
Just develop.
100%. Take a break.
Quick break, and we'll come back, and then we'll talk a bit
30 minutes. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. I'm hoping this recorded. I'm so stressed right now. Back after a quick coffee.
We are.
Oh, mate, watching a lot of TikToks just then. That was fun. So the last bit was 30 minutes long, so we'll try and make this nice and quick. So the new FIFA's out.
Yes.
Now, we're both at that age where we don't play FIFA religiously.
Not as much as I'd probably like to or used to.
During lockdown, we played a lot of FIFA and COD.
Oh, I played a lot of PlayStation.
I felt like an 18-year-old again.
It was good. Actually, I didn't mind it. It gave me, a bit of reminiscing back to when we were in high school, so it was pretty cool.
Back in the days, I used to love FIFA. I think maybe still in high school, I had the whole setup. I had an Elgato, which was the recording. I had the PlayStation, and I had a small screen in my room. And I was doing YouTube videos back then, like 17, 16. I was doing YouTube videos. I was inspired by the Sidemen guys. I was doing all these like FIFA Manager, Road to Glories and stuff like that. I wasn't the best, but I still had fun. I was making teams, and I had a few people commenting. I was like, this is good. Like people actually watch my content, making them short. So FIFA was like this amazing thing. I had to get home. I was urging to play.
Yeah.
But now I can go out a whole year without playing a game of FIFA.
So I think 22, I played pretty hard for the first few weeks. And then I did not touch it after that. I probably played COD a couple of times. I don't know, maybe I just got over it, but it's a hard one. And, I know a lot of people say, oh, it's the same thing every year, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I always did appreciate the subtle differences in the game each season as well, which kind of made it that little bit harder, that little bit better. An enjoyable experience all around. And now I'm just like, I don't know. I have this weird, maybe it's just where we're at in life.
Yeah, for me, the thing that I always loved about FIFA was, having the new jerseys, having new stadiums, the manager modes that I always, found campaigns a lot fun. Last year, though, the 22, I did a lot of Ultimate Team with Chris, our friend, and I was really into it. I had the app. I had the Foot app where I was checking the prices of players, making profit, selling players. I had a stack squad of a Macedonian thing. I had Pundiv, inform player. I really enjoyed it. I had a Tim Cahill, and I was the first time in my life I actually took Ultimate Team seriously, and it just fell off. I just gave up.
You know what? So this is my thing, right? I like having it, using it as my downtime to play. And I feel like Ultimate Team, you need to commit to it. It's really hard to have a good squad and keep up with everyone online if you're not paying regular attention to it. And it's smart, right? Because that's what FIFA wants. FIFA or EA wants. They want people playing it all the time, spending money on packs and all that sort of stuff, blah, blah, blah. I think it's great. It's a great concept. And I think that was why I got kind of a bit more stuck into manager mode.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was easier for me to leave, come back to, and I can just pick up where I left off.
Talking about manager mode on FIFA, I know there's always that difference between FIFA manager mode and football manager, and both have different aspects. I'm more someone who likes to actually play, play the ball back, push the players up front, sign the amazing Brazilian with the best surname ever. So you've got this one player that scores goals, and you're like, that is my player.
It's Mario Jardel, De Souza,
or
Ruiz.
These regions. It's it was Samuel Ronaldo, random names. Or I think one of my favorites was John Kuehl or something.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed manager mode, and I always had this one team back in the days. I always go from the bottom of the championship or the state. What do you call it? League 2, Coca-Cola League 2 back in the days.
Peterborough or
for me it was always Accrington Stanley or Fleetwood Town.
Yeah.
Take him to the Premier League and then go in Champions League. And you're this one player of yours was always, and you sign an A-League player.
Yeah.
There's always this one A-League player you would sign, and it was you making them your next big thing. For me, I think I used to sign Caceres a couple of years ago into the city. I used to sign Caceres as this Aussie player, but his surname was the best on the shirt.
That's so cool.
Did you ever have a team, and did you ever have a player that you would sign?
Sort of, but I used to do it through, do you remember Be a Pro?
Yeah.
And you could make your own player.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I used to do it through Be a Pro, and then I remember you used to be able to play either as that single player or you could play as the entire squad. And I remember I'd always start every game as a single player and try and like, control it, score goals and whatever. And then it would turn to shit. You couldn't control the other players, so you would concede. And then I'd try and switch it and take over the whole team, actually win the game, and then try again the next game.
I think the only thing I would say about the FIFA manager is that they need to update a little bit more. I know I'm not sure if I'm wrong or right, but I heard that this season they're allowing the player to change the third shirt every season, which is amazing. You can't do the home and away because legal rights, the jerseys, you can't go from Nike to Adidas. But it's good to see Manager Mode doing a bit more. I always like what the 2K stuff for the basketball does with the player sort of experience for managers and the player managing. But yeah, I think for me, FIFA has always been a great game. My best memories of the days would be just now, even at 30 years old, like I still play online and have headsets. You got to have headsets. Like you don't
funny.
Talk to them, but you got to make sure
just
you
listen.
To the game. It's hard when you got a child in the household. That's why if I was to play now, I'd only be able to play when the wife is out or at night when the child is asleep. Because there's no chance you're going to play the game with a 2-year-old running around being like,
nah, not happening, bro.
But like my best memory would be, and I'm sure everyone at home listening would have an experience, when you're playing against someone and then you realize they go on the speaker and they're much younger than you, and the absolute disrespect that you would get from this feeling of you being taunted and you're actually defeated by a kid that's at least between the ages of 8 to 13. And my best memory was this one kid had his mum yelling in the background, being like, I can't remember his name, but it was just like, do your homework. Do your homework. Shut up, mum. And you're sitting there like, hey, mate, you got to do your homework. And he's beating you 6-0 and you're like,
this is
please cancel the game so I'll get the points.
I think one of mine was when, I think it was during COVID, we were playing together, co-op session.
Yeah.
And we continually were getting rolled by kids. And so we just started being idiots, doing skills all the way up and down the pitch. We clawed back one goal. And then I think it was like one of us was out wide on the wing. And we were just smashing the toggle stick, just doing skills, whipped the ball into the box, scored a header. I think we snagged it like 90th minute winner. And I remember you and me just losing it. The girls, I think, were waking up. I'm getting text messages from my wife at like 2 a.m. Shut the like, stop it. You guys are screaming.
I remember this. I totally forgot about
my
this.
My couch, I remember, was like kind of similar shape to this one. And I'm sitting there and I've got smacked my head on the wall. So she's losing. The wall's making noise. I'm making noise.
I remember this. I remember like the hairstyles and stuff. I remember like scoring a last minute goal. We're both like, I think it was the first time even with COD when we won the actual.
Yeah.
It was just like this pure energy coming into this whole respect, and you're like, oh my god, we did it, we won a game.
It was 2 years of lockdown and one euphoric moment, or 2 euphoric moments. One was on Call of Duty and one was on FIFA. And that was those.
Look, I'm at the stage now, like I want to get this game, the new one, because Sam Kerr's at the front, and I think for female football, like it's for me, it's like inspiring to show my daughter when she's older.
Yeah, incredible.
Be like, you can be like this girl,
and especially because it's the last
FIFA.
Well,
That's actually a lot more valuable. And I don't know, I'm more of a physical copy guy. I love collecting my vinyls.
Fan,
So if I was to get this game, I know our mate Chris downloaded it, but for me, I want the physical copy I can keep. I regret selling my old copies back in the day.
I think if I was to go back to the physical copy thing, I'd probably want to, like I've got a lot of them still. I think I would want to go and fill the gaps and make sure I've got from, 95 all the way through.
Yeah, actually, we should do that. I'd love to find all of them. Yeah. But I think for me, like the FIFA series has been a great thing. I do remember the early days of like 98. And the music, and that's one thing about FIFA that I love is the music. And I know now they've connected with Spotify, which I always suggested to people. I was like, can you imagine if FIFA had a Spotify connection and they just updated the playlist?
Yeah.
They had this Spotify link sort of connection.
Yeah.
And then FIFA and Spotify can be like, these are your new songs of the month. And this is your feature artist. Instead of having musicians, they would have feature artists. So like, for example, this week, it'll be Flume or it'll be someone like The Foles. Like The Foles will change the playlist and play some of your new music.
Yeah. I think it's great. And it gives them that opportunity to, like you said, to give fresh stuff, an opportunity as well. So, it could be like a future deal with an artist to say, whatever you release in, say, it's October now. So whatever you release in January, we'll throw into the game.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a platform for you to grow, which, TikTok does that really well, right? Like people jump on sounds because they're fresh and, it sort of like gives hype to songs purely because it gets used a lot. So I think it's amazing for artists. I wanted to run through a few player ratings with you. Let me know what you think. Underrated, overrated, or about right. So Messi has gone hit a 91.
I don't know. Like that, he's a great footballer, but I think on FIFA stats, it doesn't really signify how good the player is. Like this guy is amazing.
He is amazing, but do you think it reflects his form? Because remember, he had a pretty quiet season last year for PSG.
I see Ronaldo's one there. I don't know. Like 94 Messi, and we'll get to a certain name here.
Yeah.
Do you have Haaland in there?
Yeah.
Where is he?
No,
I
he's
can't
not,
see.
but I know he's 88 overall.
See, like the fact that he's 88, Mbappe is 91.
How?
These players have different attributes, and like I don't know, even Modric. Oh, sorry, I know you're gonna say this, but yeah, not Messi 91. I think is more of an 88.
I think so too. I think his form this year, up until now, is probably justified at 91.
What's Suarez at? Because now
Luis-
he's gone over to Uruguay.
Luis Suarez. I'll have
Yeah.
a quick look.
Is he even in the game? Because I don't think the Uruguayan league. He's definitely a national team. Jeez, I just realised Suarez is not in the game anymore, like a league stat.
84 overall, Luis Suarez.
But see, like if Messi went to Boca Juniors, he would have dropped down.
But it is Messi we're talking about.
There's no way Messi would have been a 91 if he went to Boca Juniors, and there's no way Ronaldo would have been a 90 if he went to the Arab states.
Yeah, it's a good point. I wonder
get
if the club reflects sort of
Actually,
the player
can
rating.
you find out what's Ibrahimovic? If this guy is below 80,
Surely Ibrahimovic is quite low. He barely played last season. 82. I think 82 is okay for Ibra.
yeah, he's still a beast up there. But yeah, Lewandowski 91.
Yeah, well, I'd look great season as well, and he started off
Yeah,
flying.
that's good for him.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of his better ratings. I think in the last few years. You mentioned Mbappe 91. I find it weird to have Messi, Lewandowski, Mbappe, and Benzema all on the same level. I feel like Benzema after last season probably should be maybe a 92, 93. This is my thing too. Like I don't think he's better than those players, but I think he's played better than those players recently.
I think when we look at the numbers and the stats of each player, you look at the player more physicality and like this sort of the player design of him on the game. In real life, we know who's better, who's
Of course,
different
yeah,
at
yeah.
touching and the like. Like Haaland's passing is not as good as most of the people, but
She's
this morning
assist
we
to
saw
Phil
the assist
Foden,
to
yeah.
Phil Foden. That doesn't really think so. Like sometimes the stats of these players, I think I always look deeper into it. So
Yeah.
for example, for me, if I was to say sign a Haaland or an Mbappe in manager mode on FIFA or Ultimate Team, I'd much rather go for a Haaland because I know my style of play would be a cross header.
Yeah.
And we know how OP that was in FIFA days, where it's a cross header.
Yeah.
I think if you had a player like Messi and Ronaldo, like I think those two players in the game would be a lot different as well in the sort of attributes and aspects of it.
Yeah,
Messi would be a great player to like weave through, and Ronaldo would be pushing the players.
Ronaldo's not sitting on the bench like he is now.
Like, can you
United.
imagine Ronaldo playing in your manager mode and you're playing against Accrington Stanley? This guy's going to just push everyone. But if Messi's playing against like League Two,
Yeah.
this guy's going to get fizzled out because we look at the defender sizes now these days.
It's different, very different. It's a
You
different
get me?
dynamic completely altogether.
Like, yeah, cool. Messi on a volley, Messi on an outside box shot will be a lot better than
Comfortable,
someone,
yeah,
say,
yeah.
like Haaland. But either way, like, I think the stats. But yeah, go to the next
okay,
one.
so CR7, Ronaldo, 90 overall, played stuff all this year so far. Probably didn't have. He had a good season. He top scorer, right, for United last season. So that's probably another thing. But 90, I feel like 90 is high. That's very high.
I think on the Ultimate Team, he'd be going up, down, down, depending on how he plays. That's how
Yeah.
Ultimate Team works. But I think the fact you look at him and Salah's been horrible.
Yeah, I don't think Salah should be where he is anyway. I think him and Salah both on 90. I think is too high. I would
Like-
give him. I think an 88 for Ronaldo. 87
Salah better than
maybe.
Haaland? Like,
For me,
Salah's a great player,
yeah, I think Haaland's comfortably got him covered
but
now.
Haaland is just a whole different level of footballer now.
I think right now Haaland should be like a 93. I think that's a great level for him.
On form, like I know he scores goals, and this is something that Roy Keane had an argument with Mika Richards and stuff this morning on Sky Sports. But it's like looking at real life football and then looking at the game for me. There's two different worlds.
Yeah, of course.
Two different worlds, and I think you're just gonna have to. Yeah, I think for me, Salah in the game would be a lot less than what Haaland would be.
Yeah.
Because stat wise. Oh, but then Salah does have.
There's so many more elements to his game,
Touch,
right? Yeah, there's a
does
lot.
have, like,
He's a great player. It's
creativity.
undeniable. I think form is always what gets people a bit. Oh my god, this is not what his rating should be. It's a bit false, and I'm exactly in that boat. Like Trent Alexander-Arnold, 87. After the week that he's had,
Yeah.
you're sitting there going, maybe not. Great on the attack. I think he's got 1-star defensive work rate, but
Again, the FIFA gameplay it really just has to like complement the way you play.
Yeah, of course.
So, for example, if you're someone who likes wing backs, then you sign wing backs more purely because of speed and cross.
everyone's going to be signing.
You get me?
Trent
But
FIFA.
like, if you've got centre backs, like for me, Virgil van Dijk was always great for me as a centre back.
Yeah.
He would stop every ball 1-on-1. But yeah, I that's why I think
Yeah, I felt like when if you're going to sign anyone that you can afford, I feel like the first thing you look for, especially as a centre back, you want someone tall, someone fast.
Yeah.
So I remember like Nico Sula was great at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muller, like, great player in real life. And I think on the game, he's got almost every attribute.
87 though, like
It's not bad for him.
I think you know what I reckon, and I feel like FIFA's kind of paying him a bit of respect. I reckon they underrated him in almost every FIFA up until now,
Yeah.
and they're like, this guy has achieved everything. Let's give him some credit where credit's due, and keep his rating up there, even though he's later on in his career.
Yeah, no, that's a good number. Fabinho, 87, and Gundogan, 85.
I reckon Gundogan was hit stiff with 85. He was their best player last year.
Yeah.
By a mile.
Yeah, but then you see so many other players in that position. What's Casemiro these days? Was he 88?
I can tell you, I think he'd be there.
I'm guessing 88. But then you look at some of those Aussies in the A-League. Like, it's just crazy to think that it's not that some of the numbers in there. Like, some players are on 58, and you think to yourself, like, wow.
Early days, yeah. 89 Casemiro.
89. See,
Yeah.
that I think. Yeah, I don't know.
But Champions League, off the back of a Champions League win.
Yeah, true.
I think that pumps it up a bit, but yeah, it's an interesting one, that's for sure.
The next player is the best one. Just added it in the last.
Yeah,
minute.
sneaky little side jab at me.
I think at the end of the day, if you got a sort of inkling in FIFA and you understand what the game is, I'm sure like the ratings mean nothing to you. I think if you sign players in Ultimate Team or in Manage Mode, you're looking at the bigger picture of like how to complement your style.
Yeah, completely. Look, nonetheless, I'm sure we'll both end up buying the game again, and even though we don't, we're probably going to play it twice, and then just leave it on the back burner for a bit.
Look, I think the game definitely. I'm going to be trying to play a few things here and there. I know Ultra Football has something planned with FIFA or had something planned with FIFA in the future, but look, I'm more than happy to see the game evolve, and next year it will be known as EA Sports FC.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they're basically bringing the game in different ways. Like now we're seeing the Women's League in there, the Barclays, and I think the French League.
Women's?
Yeah, so they got Lyon and they got Ali Carpenter's in the game.
Amazing.
I think like that's where I need to see this game go. I think that they need to actually expand in other ways of the game.
Well, being an online platform, I think that gives it that
can
foundation
update it.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas you're not so stuck on a rigid, disc or whatever like previously. I think it's different too. Like gaming's evolved so much now that we expect so much more of an experience out of it. Whereas previously, I think there was a bit more like, no, this is the game. This is where it starts and where it ends. And that was it, right? That was that was the best part about PlayStation 1, Nintendo, all that sort of stuff.
This game, although does also have the Women's World Cup and the Men's World Cup.
That's great. That is so good.
That's epic. The fact that 2 World Cups in the same year, like.
So, is it going to be built into this FIFA, or is it
like it'll be I'm pretty sure it's in or it's an add-on.
I was going to say because like obviously previous versions they'd made like a whole separate game.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that anymore.
I love that. I think it was 2002. It was glitchy as, but it was so good.
No, my favorite was the South African one.
That was good actually.
Music,
yeah, big fan.
The music, Shakira. Waka waka, eh.
Maybe it was Germany. I think I enjoyed the Germany game.
2002.
I feel like there was the Dutch
squad.
squad in that was stacked.
Yeah, national team squads, like for me in FIFA, just stacked.
Stacked. Crazy. Anyway, maybe in the next few weeks we can try and source out a copy of FIFA and get it in store here. Maybe we can make an episode on
100%.
Our best. I think we mentioned it previously, doing like our best 11 against one another.
Yeah, we should definitely do our best 11 FIFA.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll work it out. There's nothing else for us to speak about. The pop-up is this week.
Yes, it's going to be massive.
It's been chaotic. We spoke about it before, and I'm like, oh my God. How's it the week already this week?
But make sure you get down, guys. It's going to be huge. I just got to... man, I have so much inventory to do for PFC. I got a whole, I reckon, 130 to 150 shirts in the last week. So... there's a lot of new stuff to come.
I hope my jerseys rock up. I'm really sad. It's going to be another shit show if they don't rock up. We do have other things on play.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll keep you posted. But yeah, make sure to come this Sunday at Panenka Food Store.
Yes.
Early start, 9 a.m., 10 a.m.?
10 a.m. So 10 till 4.
10 to 4.
Don't be those people that come at 3:48.
Look, if you come early, come early, but don't. It's
no, come early. Just don't come late because you're gonna miss out.
Yeah, look, I'm sure that people don't come that late. But look, like we said, we have one more topic. If you want to talk about it, we'll keep it next episode.
Yeah, you do.
We're currently 48 minutes long episode.
It'll take 1 second, I reckon.
Right.
It's pretty long.
You put the topic if you want quickly, or we just end it. What do you want to do?
So, if you had to pick one of Thierry Henry or Wayne Rooney, who are you taking?
I know you said before I'll be biased, but for me, Wayne Rooney would be a more of an ultimate player. At his prime, maybe 28, that sort of area, this guy would be not only, he would go into tackles. He would grab the ball from the midfield and take it up. You know, the shooting attributes on this guy, like playing in Champions League and getting the hat trick. I know Thierry Henry is a great footballer and like elegant on and off the pitch, but I think as a total footballer, as the ultimate package, Wayne Rooney had for me blood, sweat, and tears. While Thierry Henry for me is just elegance.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. It's hard to deny output too, as well, right? Like the fact that Rooney was able to score so many goals and can basically, well, he ended up being a midfielder as well as a striker, which is insane when you think about it. I went into this thinking I'm going to pick Thierry Henry purely just to kind of shit you up the wall, but I think it's really hard to go against Rooney now. I think before he left United, I would have picked Thierry Henry hands down.
Yeah.
But it's funny because that later end of his career made no real difference to what he'd achieved previously. But I still think it's hard to go past Rooney. It's Thierry Henry for me was an incredible footballer, probably one of the best entertainers, and an amazingly smart player too. For someone with that ability and that kind of football brain, anyone that hasn't seen him do like some pundit stuff, man, check it out because the guy's
he's a smart guy,
genius.
Wayne Rooney as a coach and even Thierry Henry have both ended up as coaches. But I think, look, again, for me, Wayne Rooney for a footballer's aspect had everything. This guy would leave the pitch dirty. I know Henry would not leave the pitch, clean.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, the tenacity, the hunger, they both had it. The sort of teammanship and the work effort, they both had everything I think every person would want as a footballer. But I think as an overall package, I think Rooney could defend.
I think he offers more.
He could defend. He could go back. And like if we're losing, like United were losing, he would go back and fire up the squad.
Well, everyone's seen that clip of him as keeper. Remember, I think they throw him in goals. That was it, like an old Nike ad or something.
I'm pretty sure he grew up, and he's the one of those things he said he started off as a keeper as a kid.
That's incredible.
That goal he scored against Newcastle, I'll never forget.
The volley, man.
Like just these. Like he's a bulldog,
Oh, man. And have you seen, like, 30 seconds prior to him scoring that goal, he's literally running next to the ref, abusing the ref for a call that he literally just turns around and the ball just drops, just whack. Incredible.
I grew up watching Wayne Rooney, and for me, he's always going to be one of those players that just, like, stood out.
Oh, man. For someone, like, in the early 2000s what a player,
he's just, like, body shape and, like, weaving through players, hustling, pushing, scoring, his celebrations, like, the hand out wide.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Henry again, a great footballer. Like the Highbury was just his throne. Like this guy was beautiful, but for me, Wayne Rooney just installed this love for the game again. Like just for me, I was always more of a I was an angry player. Like I would rather get a good tackle than a goal.
Yeah.
But this guy had everything.
He had it all. Oh, on that note, I think we're gonna go watch some highlights of Wayne Rooney in 2004 Euros. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, with Ronaldo.
No, he's a beast.
Euro
2004.
Nuts. Yeah, that guy. That's one thing I think the English squad is missing now. Someone tenacious, hard working.
Yeah, hey. There's a few.
I know Phil Foden.
Declan Rice.
Yeah. Declan Rice had a bit of a weird one.
I'm a big fan.
I was a fan, but I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyways, so like we said, A-League Fantasy, we will definitely have a little description at the below. So if you're watching this right now, it'll be on the screen,
yes,
hopefully.
generally.
Otherwise, it'll be in the description below. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Stay with super people.
Bye.
Bye.
My coffee there. Struggled out.
It's just finished.